In this video, I want to take a look at regular expressions, or regex. Sometimes you hear people call it regex. Regex is short for regular, and it's a hard G sound, so the proper pronunciation is probably regex. It is one of the most powerful tools that you can learn, but it's not a super easy tool to learn. The concepts are easy, but getting really good at it takes practice. So let's take a look at what regex is. Okay. A regular expression, it's a string that describes a pattern for matching another set of strings. It's very powerful for string manipulation. You can use regular expressions for matching, for replacing, or for splitting strings. Okay, which is what brings this up, because we've just been talking about strings and how to split them. So let me give you an example real quickly here. I have a string here. It's a sentence. The sentence is, "Stop and smell the roses." Okay. And I created a small array here called words. So I want to split this sentence up into an array of words. Okay. So, and I didn't follow my own rules about use the standard way for notating an array of strings here. So we put the array brackets on that, not on words. Remember, it does work the other way, but this is the better way, I believe. Okay, so we're taking our sentence, which was "Stop and smell the roses," and we're calling strings.split method. So every string has a dot split method from the string class built into it, and we can tell it that we want to split this sentence up, or tokenize. The keyword, the actual word for that when we split things up into individual items is called tokenizing. And we call string.split, and here I have a value in here that's basically saying split anywhere you see a space. Okay, so it's going to split that sentence up based on where the spaces are at, and it's going to store that in an array. And then I have a little for loop out here that's going to print out each of the words, each word in the words array. It's going to print them out using a for loop. So let's do that, and you can see I get "stop and smell the roses," and that includes the dot, because I told it to split on the spaces. If I want to, I could tell it to split on spaces and periods. And now when I run it, I get "stop and smell the roses," and it took the period out as well, and it just kept the words. So that's string.split. That's pretty easy to understand. You can also use it for matching, replacing things. Regular expressions are used all over the place, and they're used in every language. So what is this regex, or this regular expression? When I say string.split, I have to supply a pattern, and it has to be a regular expression. Okay. So let's look quickly at the documentation. Okay, for split. So split requires us to specify a string in the form of regular expression. Okay, so it splits a string around anything that matches. So for simple splits, we can just use those square brackets and specify the characters that we would like to split up our string on. If that's all the further you ever go, okay, but you're missing out on a very powerful tool if that's all you learn how to do. So we can just give it a list of things we want to split on and split up that way. So a lot of times we'll split up on spaces and commas, because we might have a comma separated value file, or a CSV, which is a way you can export data out of a spreadsheet in CSV format, and it gives you a bunch of rows separated by separated by commas to determine the columns. Very powerful. So let's look. Let me pull the PowerPoint back up, because it does a pretty good job of showing us what all the different options are. So here's regular expressions. It's a bunch of characters that can tell us what we want to do. If I use just a character, I'm looking to match that single character. If I put a dot, okay, excuse me, a dot that's not in the square brackets, I'm saying match any single character. So if I say match J dot dot A, any word that starts with a capital J and ends with an A would get matched. Square brackets, I'm saying match an A, a B, or a C, and that's what we were using in that previous example. We used a space and a period. So anything we put in square brackets, it matched a space or it matched a period. We can also do a caret at the top. That little up arrow is a caret. Any character except A, B, or C. We can do A through Z. Hey, if this matches A through Z, and we can do that capital and lowercase, so we can say right here, Java, any character from A to M, followed by an AV, followed by any character from A to D, would match this regular expression. Extremely powerful, and you can see all the different ones it gets. We can specify, hey, any digit would be fine here. Any non-digit would be fine here. All these little codes to build up these very complex patterns for matching things to strings in Java and other languages. So let's go back over here and look at some sample code I found on the internet real fast, because a lot of the times the things you want to match, somebody's already done it. You want to validate and make sure somebody types their social security number right. This is what we're looking at. Maybe you want to validate and make sure somebody types their zip code correctly, or make sure that somebody types a telephone number in the proper format. You can use regular expressions for that. So let's look at this. Okay, so we're just creating a small list of strings here. You may not know what an array list is, but it's very similar to an array. We'll just go with that. And we're adding a bunch of sample telephone numbers in here. Okay, here's two of them that are valid. So the proper format, 3 digits, followed by a dash, followed by 2 digits, followed by 4 more digits. Excuse me, these are social security numbers. So here's 2 valid ones, and here's a bunch of invalid ones, because we want to test invalid ones too to make sure that they don't match. Here is the string of regex that will test to see if we have matched a matched a social security number or not. Now there's some rules in here that I didn't even know about for social security numbers. Okay, social security numbers cannot start with a 000 or a 666. So we have to rule those out. And we'll look at the pattern here in a second. Okay, so once we create this string of regular expressions, we can use the pattern class and compile that into a pattern, which makes this a little bit more efficient. You don't necessarily have to do that part. You can use it directly. If you're going to reuse it often, like we are in this for loop, it's better to compile it into a pattern. And pattern has a matcher method that will tell if this pattern matches whatever you're looking at. And in this case, we're looking at all these different numbers to see if they match this pattern. And it goes through here and tests the first 2. They do match that pattern, and the rest of them do not match that pattern. So we could use this so that these ones down here, when we print them out, print false. They don't match. So we could use this to validate numbers on a form or something, for example, to make sure somebody's typed a proper social security number. So let's go through and look at what this means down here. What does each of these items mean? And we can go back to the chart from the PowerPoint and decode it ourselves, but let's look at this as a live example. So this part right here, the question mark exclamation point 000 pipe 666. Okay, we're saying that neither 000 nor 666 can be matched here. Okay, so that's what the pipe is, or we got a exclamation point in front that says not, so not or, neither or can be matched. Followed by, where'd our pattern go? 0 through 8. Okay, we have to match a digit from 0 through 8 next. Okay, remember one of the rules. Let's go up here and look at the rules for Social Security numbers. The first 3 digits are called the area number where you were born. They can't be 000, they can't be 666, and they can't be above 900. So between 900 and 99, which is why the first digit has to be a 0 through 8. So this pattern says no 000, no 666, and then the first number has to be a 0 through 8, followed by a 0 through 9, and then in the curly braces we have a 2, which says there needs to be 2 digits. So a single digit from 0 to 8, followed by 2 digits from 0 to 9. Followed by a dash, followed by a rule that we can't have a 0 for our 2 middle numbers, okay? But then the numbers from 0 to 9 twice come next, followed by another dash, followed by, we can't have all zeros here, but then we'll take any number from 0 to 9 4 times. And then the $sign says, hey, that's the end of the string. There shouldn't be anything else on the string. So you can see each little part of this is pretty simple to learn. It takes practice. It takes repetition to get really good at it. Again, if you need to use a regular expression, for common things, you can probably find it on the internet, but you really should learn all the different ways to match things using Regex, because when you do that, it'll make your code so efficient and so much simpler once you get the matching string done. I want to show you a tool, now that we've talked about it, a tool that will help you with Regex. And I don't use this one every time. I came on to Google and I said, regular expression tester or something like that. It came up with a whole list of these things all over the internet that I can use. I have used this one before, regex101.com. It's a pretty good one. Here I've pasted in that regular expression that we just saw. I took it right off that page, and I want to test it to see if it works. So what I can do is I can type a regular expression up here, and then I can type a bunch of tests down here. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, followed by -67, -9632. That's a good pattern. This one is not. Okay, so over here it tells me that I have a match with this one. That one does not match. And I can type all the tests in here that I want to do. Let's do one that starts with 934-12-3456. Okay, looks like a valid Social Security number, but it does not match because remember, it can't have a 9. Okay. Over here on the right, it actually explains what each section of our regular expression is doing. Okay, so this is a great tool if you're having to write your own. Maybe we want to match a telephone number. What's a telephone number going to look like? Okay, it's going to be get rid of this. A telephone number will be, we'll do a very simplified version, 3 digits from 0 to 9. Okay, so let's just do this. Okay, we'll do this part. 3 digits from 0 to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that says that matches. Why does it match? Because it starts with 3 digits from 0 to 9. If I want to make it stop there, now it doesn't match, because it says it has to be 3 digits and then that has to be the end of the code. So that's something I could practice, right? 1, 2, 3. That matches. 4, 5, 6. That matches. Okay. So after that, I want to have a dash. So I'm doing a telephone number. Square brackets, I will take any number from 0 through 9 again. I need to put them inside the square brackets. And in curly braces, I want to have 3 of those. So 3 digits followed by a dash followed by 3 more digits. Now these don't match anymore, but if I add, excuse me, dash 456, I could type. Okay, now that one matches and you can see it got highlighted there. 456 dash 1234 does not match, but 123 does. Okay, so I can build my regular expression up and test it using a tool like this. So string.split, string.match, string.replace, they all use regular expressions. They're talked about in this chapter. Regular expressions is something you really should learn if you're going to be doing a lot of programming.